David Paulides. Welcome back, friends, to the Missing 411 Project. Thank you for being here. This is a crucial missing person segment, and today we are going to dive deep into two cases that, frankly, defy any rational explanation. We are heading now to the wild, remote stretches of the American West. Our first case involves a man named John Jones, 70 years old, disappeared on October 23rd, 1971 in Sulphur Basin, Utah. If you've ever ventured near Capitol Reef National Park, you know this country. We're talking about the fringes, the desolate high-altitude terrain near Thousand Lake Mountain. This area is terrifyingly remote. Jones was an experienced farmer, still active, traveling from Modesto, California, to hunt with three close friends. These men had hunted this particular area for decades. Their camp was established at 8,500 feet. Now, listen to this next part very carefully. The four men were hunting together. Not long after they left their camp, John Jones vanished, just gone. Poof. His friends couldn't explain it. They were in earshot, they knew the terrain, and the idea that John simply got lost in a group he'd hunted with for years didn't make sense. It's the immediate, unexplained disappearance from a cohesive group, a chilling characteristic we've documented countless times in the Missing 411 data. They searched all day on the 23rd. Nothing. Early on the 24th, they contacted the Wayne County Sheriff, D. Lyle Johnson. The weather, which started mild, was rapidly turning against them. A brutal, cold storm was rolling in, concealing everything. The sheriff learned that John had recently recovered from a mild heart attack, a medical vulnerability alone in the unforgiving wilderness. I stress the importance of a personal locator beacon, a PLB. Hunters, you spend thousands on your gear, but not one penny on the only thing that might save your life? It's illogical. The search commenced. The first day, 14 inches of snow already on the ground, fierce winds, and here's the fact that locks this case into our Missing 411 profile. No tracks. Think about that. Four men are walking. One stops, and the others continue. When they turn back, the tracks of the man who disappeared should be right there in the fresh snow. But from the point he was last seen, there were no more tracks. It's as if he stepped across an invisible boundary, or perhaps through a sudden, silent, dimensional rift. Day after day, the weather deteriorated. Deputies, equestrians, even the sheriff flying his own plane when he could nothing. By the end, 2 feet of snow covered the landscape. When the search was officially terminated, the consensus among the search and rescue team was that John could not have survived. The cold, the wind, and the utter lack of a starting point. They didn't know where to search because they couldn't find where he went. John Jones simply evaporated into the sulfur-laced air of Thousand Lake Mountain. He fits the criteria of our documented patterns: experienced hunter, hostile weather approaching, and the inexplicable lack of tracks. Some individuals, when lost, are not just misplaced, they are utterly removed. Now, let's jump from the high desert of Utah to the ancient mythological landscape of Greece. This year, we've seen an unprecedented number of disappearances in Greece. It's beyond bizarre. The case of Philip Zajonc, 38 years old, missing since July 12th, 2024, is one of the most frustrating. Philip is a brilliant man, a bilingual software engineer from Toronto. He went to Greece for a working holiday, able to work remotely. He arrived on July 8th and worked every day, logging in like clockwork until July 12th. His plan? To climb the mythical home of the Greek gods, Mount Olympus. The mountain itself is non-technical, a walk in the park for an active man like Philip. His employer raised the flag on July 26th when he stopped logging in. The family insists Philip was diligent, always in touch, and had no mental health issues. When the family arrived, the Greek police had searched his Airbnb. Here's what they found. His suitcase and personal effects were there, but his backpack and his cell phone were missing. He took what he needed to climb a mountain. He set off, but then the trail goes cold. Literally, this brings us to the hidden, terrifying dangers of international travel. I was recently told by a retired State Department official that right now our State Department is failing people who get into trouble overseas. This is a critical point that can turn your trip into a missing 411 file. If you have plans to travel, listen to this advice. It could save your life. Do not travel internationally alone. Leave a detailed itinerary and stick to it. And text loved ones daily. Use a magical secret word, a code phrase, like Blue Horizon, or some simple code that only you and your family know. This is your countermeasure against potential kidnapping or coercion. And always leave your phone on. You heard me say this before. Even when you turn off a modern phone, there is a secondary battery and location services are not truly off. This came from an expert in data recovery. A chilling truth. Philip Zajonc has not been found. The family is back in Canada, frustrated, haunted. They are fairly certain he reached the mountain, but the lack of immediate search effort by local authorities led to a critical, irretrievable gap in time. Now, let's bring in the high strangeness element, because these two cases share a terrifying common denominator: the evaporation factor. John Jones stepped off the earth in a blizzard with no tracks. Philip Zajonc's vanished near Mount Olympus, a place famous for mythological deities, a location often associated with intense paranormal activity due to its ancient, sacred status. Could both of these vanishings be attributed to the same underlying phenomenon we see in the missing 411 cases? The pattern of experienced individuals in remote areas vanishing without a trace, often right before a severe weather event. I believe we are dealing with a recurring predatory phenomenon that has been with us for centuries. In the Jones case, the no-track scenario is a signature of what some researchers call a temporal displacement event, a momentary tear in the fabric of space-time that opens and closes, instantly removing a person. The severe weather, the cold, the blizzard may not be the cause of the disappearance, but a perfect natural cover for the true catastrophic event. And in the Zajonc case, in an ancient land, the lack of human trace evidence suggests the same. Could something, a cryptid, perhaps a highly evolved Sasquatch, or a more esoteric, non-human intelligence, be harvesting individuals from these remote sites? We have documented cases in the missing 411 files where witnesses have described creatures with glowing red eyes, or even strange, silent aerial phenomena, UFO disappearances that correlate precisely with the locations of our clusters. The fact remains, 2 men, one in Utah in 1971, one in Greece in 2024, both active, both experienced, both simply ceased to exist. This is not about getting lost. This is about being taken. The wilderness is not just a place of trees and rivers. It is an unknown. And the Missing 411 project continues to expose the fact that there are invisible, malevolent forces at work in the remote parts of the world. Forces that select, remove, and ultimately silence. Don't let your loved ones become a statistic. Be safe, be prepared, and understand that some things that disappear do so because they are preyed upon. Thank you for being here, friends.